Update. My male 25 girlfriend, female 25, decided to quit her career after I became a millionaire. How do I tell her this won't work out? Original post. I met my girlfriend Kylie, fake name, at community college 7 years ago. We became really close friends and started dating 2 years later. Back then, she wanted to become a nurse, which I fully supported because she was so passionate about it. I later transferred to a 4-year university and earned my MBA. Kylie supported me emotionally the entire time I was in school, which I'm really grateful for. Her parents eventually cut her off financially due to her spending habits, so she took a year off to work and help cover her bills. Meanwhile, I invested all my savings, time, and energy into a startup platform in the automotive industry with my best friend. Earlier this year, we were bought out for a life-changing amount of money. Both of us were kept on as consultants with high salaries. Kylie kept her job at the jewelry store throughout this time, but after the buyout, she told me she was putting in her 2 weeks' notice. I offered to cover her school expenses so she could go back and finish her nursing degree. At first, she was excited about going back to school. I even bought a condo for us, a big step up from our apartment, close to her campus. But over the weekend, she mentioned that she wasn't sure about returning to school after all, and suggested she could be a stay-at-home wife, or not married. I didn't say anything at the time because I didn't know how to respond. Part of what initially attracted me to her was her ambition. Now, it doesn't sit right with me that she quit her job and career goals after I came into money. Her shopping and spending have also increased, and she's been looking at new cars. I might be overreacting, but something just doesn't feel right. I still love her and want this to work out, but I don't like this new side of her I'm seeing. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Not sure what kind of advice you want here. It's pretty easy to tell her that you never wanted a stay-at-home spouse. You wanted a partner that's also contributing to the household and that you really valued her ambition toward having her own career and independence. You need to have a really frank discussion that as of right now, your assets are not shared wealth. That you're happy to help her go back to school, but that you intend for your lifestyle to be whatever, and that you intend to invest further into your future. So here's another detail I left out. Her mom was a stay-at-home mom. Her dad is very well off, so I don't think she sees anything wrong with her decision. That's the family life she was raised in. When we first got together, she said she wanted to be the complete opposite of her mom. She wanted to be independent and have a career. In the future, if we end up having kids after getting married, I don't mind her to be a stay-at-home mom, but for now, that's way too far down the line. I mean, generally there is nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home partner/spouse, but that has to be a mutual decision. Stay-at-home parent? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. 25-year-old stay-at-home boyfriend/girlfriend? No, there is very much something wrong there. Now you see why her parents cut her off financially. She's a mooch. Sit her down and explain that you are willing to pay the basics and only if she goes back to school. But you will not be paying for anything more and she needs to continue to work. After all this time, school should have been finished. Side story for the reason she got cut off. She ran over her friend with her car. Kylie says it was unintentional. The friend disagrees with that. Friend ends up suing Kylie's parents on the basis of them owning the car Kylie was driving. Anyways, Kylie's parents ended up settling with a friend for $250K. They told Kylie she needed to get a job and get her own car after this. Well, that's a story. Wow, sir. Yeah, definitely a hurdle in our relationship, but we made it through. My sister is this way. She's 35 now and hasn't worked in over a decade. Her husband works 12 to 16-hour days and then comes home to do all the chores because my sister is too tired from Pilates and shopping to do chores. Poor guy. Don't be in a relationships with gold diggers. This will be your future. Also, you should not date people who run other people over with their cars. Wholly burying the lead, Batman. Now for the update. First, I'd like to thank everyone for their time and advice. I truly appreciate everyone's input. I had a serious conversation with my girlfriend Kylie about our future on Thursday night. I told her she needed to figure out a plan, whether that meant finding a job or going back to school. I also mentioned that if she chose to return to school, I would support her financially. including paying for her degree. I gave her until December to figure out her plan. She ended up getting really defensive, telling me that she's the reason I'm where I am in life, and that I should pay for her lifestyle since she's been there from the start. She also said she'd wasted 5 years of her life with me and could have been married and had a family by now. I was shocked, as I'd never seen this side of her before. She was having a complete meltdown. I ended the conversation by telling her that I'd tried my best to make this relationship work, but it won't work under these conditions. Unlike her, I come from a very middle-class family. Both of my parents had jobs and contributed equally. It felt like she had become a completely different person, and that's when I realized money had really changed her. I told her I had a business trip, which she already knew about, and asked her to have all her things moved out by the time I got back on Tuesday, leaving the keys with a mutual friend I trust. I canceled her credit card that same night. The car she currently drives still has $6,000 left on the loan, but luckily, it's in her name, so I'm not responsible for it. I've been making the payments on it for the last 6 months, but I'm done with that now. I also don't feel too bad, as her parents would never let her be homeless. On Friday, her sister called me multiple times. I initially ignored her calls, but eventually answered since they were at my condo. Her sister told me that Kylie had been crying all day and wanted to work things out. I told her it was too far gone for that. Then today, her best friend called asking if I'd meet for drinks, which I thought was odd. Her friend told me she had some things to show me that had been keeping her up at night. I told her I'd think about it, but honestly, I don't care at this point. Finding out about anything Kylie might have done behind my back would only cause more pain. When I get back, I plan to put the condo on the market, as I have no use for it anymore. I honestly have no interest in dating for now. It's too difficult for me to discern people's true intentions. Thanks again for all the help and support. This will probably be the end of this post. Side note, there were a lot of questions about Kylie hitting her friend with her car. I didn't know her when it happened. Kylie initially attended a private university for her first semester of college. She told me she accidentally put her car in drive instead of reverse and ended up hitting her friend. Kylie was super apologetic, and a friend forgave her on the spot. However, the friend's mom found out about the incident and learned that Kylie's dad is a CEO of a major corporation. She decided to sue her parents. The lawsuit was settled out of court for $250,000. Afterward, Kylie left the private college and moved back home, which is when she and I met. I don't think it was intentional on our part, but after seeing a different side of her recently, I'm not sure of anything anymore. I would take a moment and lock down your credit. Be prepared to put up cameras. Be ready for a mess when you get home. Have your phone ready to video in case you need proof later. I hope that I am overestimating how badly she will take this, but it seems like she currently has no clear path to a better life, and she may strike out at you as the reason. You're right in all you have done. Just don't count it as over yet. Yeah, maybe I've spent too much time on Reddit reading crazy stories, but breaking up with her and then leaving her alone in your apartment seems like it wasn't the smartest decision. What's to stop her from changing the locks and demanding you go through a formal eviction process and dragging this out? Or wrecking the whole place before she goes? It would have been smarter to have her out before you left, or to have waited to break up with her until you came back. Even if nothing bad happens now, in the future if you ever land yourself in a situation like this, don't dump someone and then leave on a trip, leaving them alone inside your apartment. I'm guessing she was either cheating or trying to baby trap and Fred feels guilty knowing. It does have me curious. BFF is losing sleep over it and is willing to throw Kylie under the bus because of it. Or does she just want a chance to buddy up to Opie? It's either to create unnecessary drama or to get in where her girl missed out. No matter what else it might be, it's really one of those two things or both. I'd say leave it be. Walk away carefree. Next story. My 23 female boyfriend, 27 male, charged me $100 for ruining his shirt in the wash. My boyfriend and I were together for almost 3 years. I recently graduated college and I'm taking a gap year while I apply to dental school. Right now, I'm working as a dog sitter while studying for the dental school entrance exam, so I've only been paying about 20% of our rent for the past 4 months. By January, I expect to have a full-time job after my exam and will contribute more to the rent. In exchange for him covering more of the rent, I do pretty much all the house chores. Cooking on weekdays, doing laundry, vacuuming, taking out the trash, etc. Even though we agreed this arrangement would be temporary, he never fails to bring up how little rent I pay. I also use $200 from my EBT to cover groceries each month. Not a lot, I know. We rarely go out to eat, maybe twice in the past 3 months, so he's not spending much on dining out either. That's the dynamic of our finances right now. Recently, I accidentally got a pink mark on the collar of one of his work shirts while doing laundry. It must have come from the detergent, and he ended up charging me $100 for it, because it was an expensive shirt. I felt really offended. It seemed so stingy, especially since I've bought him clothes several times without needing a special occasion. He, on the other hand, only gets me gifts for my birthday or Christmas, which is fine, but the fact that he charged me for a laundry mistake stung. The day he charged me for the shirt, I just brought him a Colombian hot dog that I wanted him to try. I'd planned on taking just one bite since I'm not big on hot dogs. But after he asked me for the $100, I ended up eating it myself, right in front of him. I told him he could reheat some leftovers if he was hungry. I felt petty, but I was hurt. This is so wild to me. I accidentally put the wrong cycle on for my husband's cashmere jumper once and somehow didn't get indentured to eternal servitude, even though the jumper was ruined. It was an accident, and a sincere apology was enough. Once, a sock got trapped with his underwear and the entire load of laundry came out covered in fluff, and I still wasn't sacrificed at the altar of good housekeeping. Then again, my husband also contributes around the house even though I am a stay-at-home mom. Something tells me this man will continue berating your efforts as well as expecting you to do everything you're already doing long after you secure a job too. My wife and I have both made mistakes when handling the laundry. We laughed it off and move on. Although when I browned her grilled cheese too much, she complains to management. Our dog. Then I have to fire the chef until next week. If he ever marries you, it won't be a real marriage. He'll demand a prenup and treat you like a freeloader for staying home to raise his children. I'd make plans to leave. She's going to have dentist money eventually. Bet he'll expect to spend all of it, even though he doesn't share with her. Yep, he's waiting to ride the wave. Update: we've since ended a relationship. It wasn't just about the shirt. There was a buildup of issues and a lot of miscommunication between us. I feel heartbroken. Last story. My 28 male bum of a brother, 26 male, just announced that he is dating an 18-year-old girl. I went to her and scared her off by being honest about who my brother is. Family is disgusted that I am trying to keep him from being happy. How do I explain this was in the best interest for everyone? My brother is a mooch, plain and simple. He is the baby of the family and no one ever wants to say or do anything that might upset him. Every time a great opportunity has come his way, he's blown it by being lazy, sleeping in, playing video games, you name it. He still lives with our parents, only reaching out to me or the family when he needs money. That's just who he is, unfortunately. Recently, he started dating a girl we've known since childhood, a family friend. She's in her first year of university, and somehow they ended up together. I don't know how or when they started talking, but I know she's too young and naive to be with someone like him. I've seen him ruin relationships by dragging women down with his lifestyle. Time and again, his ex-girlfriends have quit their jobs or dropped out of school shortly after they started dating him. This girl is smart, driven, and passionate about journalism. And the last thing she needs is his influence. So, I drove over to her parents' house and spoke to her. I explained exactly who my brother is, why she should be cautious, and what could happen if she gets involved with him. I made it clear she could make her own decision, but I wanted her to know what she'd be getting into before things got more serious. I thought that was the end of it, but the next day I got a flood of texts from my parents, my brother, and the rest of the family, all accusing me of trying to ruin his life when he's supposedly trying to get back on his feet. They're angry with me for pushing away a source of happiness for him. The thing is, I've seen this cycle over and over. He'll say he's going to change, and then the family rallies around him, giving him money and support, only for him to throw it all away because of some health issue or the bad job market or some other excuse. At this point, I don't know if it's even worth trying to explain myself to them. They all seem completely blind to who he really is. I could really use some advice on how to handle this because it feels like no one is willing to see things from my perspective. If she were the same age, I would say you should back way off. But a young girl with little dating experience is easy prey for dudes like this. And I'm sure your brother was spinning all kinds of lies and exaggerations to her. As a former naive 18-year-old girl, I think you are not wrong to try and protect her by opening her eyes. I also think the chances she told your brother and he used it to spin a narrative that benefits him and makes you the jealous jerk who has it in for him is 100%. The likelihood she gives him more chances because she likes the attention is also high. This is classic dumb kid behavior. You told the truth though, and even if they don't break up immediately, she'll have what you said in her mind. So she'll be looking for the issues you told her about. As far as how to explain it, I would say you are protecting a young person's best interests. And if your brother doesn't like it, he is free to date a woman with life experience, and you'll stay out of it. I wouldn't expect them to ever understand or agree, however. I think this is the most important part. She's only 18. If she was 25, different story. Protect the youth. I'm so proud of you for speaking the truth. How is dating an 18-year-old with no life experience supposed to help a 26-year-old man get back on his feet? Maybe your brother is all that. But dude, you clearly have personal issues with your brother, and everything you say here is BS to justify your messing with him. You went the extra mile to mess with him, and it's hard for me to believe you did it out of the goodness of your heart or to protect a young damsel. This is the exact things I hear when I try and speak up about how manipulative my brother is. Lol. Believe what you want, I try to be as subjective as possible. I know who I am and I know who my brother is. I do hate him, but it's not like I always did though. At a certain point, it just dawned on me that he is who he is. And he doesn't give a rat's ass about me or anyone else no matter how much you try to help. I will not. I've seen too many of his girlfriends and family thinking they can change him, and wasting years of their lives believing they're making a difference.